When you think about wedding planning, there is this massive, almost universally accepted blind spot right in the middle of it all.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge oversight.
Right, because the spotlight is always heavily directed toward the bride's preparation.
Mm.
I mean, there are dress fittings, hair trials, makeup consultations, all taking months to perfect.
Yeah, and that's just the baseline expectation.
Exactly. But here is the reality of modern weddings for you, our listener, especially if you're the one standing at the altar. Photographers today are using incredibly high-resolution, professional-grade cameras. We're talking 4K, sometimes 8K lenses, and they absolutely do not discriminate.
They really don't. The technological leap in photography has totally changed the game.
Yeah, which means they are going to capture every single detail of the groom, too.
Yeah, you're dealing with professional lighting setups and extreme close-ups. So when you're standing there or, doing the portrait sessions, every dry patch of skin, every bit of razor burn, it's all magnified.
Oh, man, preserved forever in high definition.
Exactly. And honestly, no amount of subtle editing is going to reconstruct a poorly prepped face without making it look artificial.
Which brings us to the mission of our deep dive today. We are looking at this really comprehensive 2026 grooming guide from Weddizer. It's titled Groom Skin and Beard Prep Routine for Wedding Day.
It's a fantastic resource, really thorough.
It really is. And our goal here is to extract the ultimate playbook from this material for you. We want to figure out how you can look confident, healthy, and entirely camera-ready without having to rely on heavy cosmetic fixes on the morning of the ceremony.
Because frankly, a lot of guys don't want to deal with that.
Right. My assumption is, for most grooms, sitting in a makeup chair for an hour of color correction just isn't the ideal way to start the day.
No, it's definitely not the goal. The objective here is to build a biological foundation so strong that you just don't need those emergency interventions.
Well, it's less about changing how you look and more about enhancing what's there.
Exactly. It's about optimizing what you already have. A scientifically grounded routine minimizes chronic redness. It balances sebum production so you don't look greasy. And it prevents those massive stress-induced breakouts.
Which are basically guaranteed when you're planning a wedding.
Pretty much. But when you put in that foundational work, the photographer spends way less time airbrushing, and you spend a lot more time just feeling genuinely present and confident.
I look at it kind of like prepping a wall before you paint it. You can't just take a roller and slap high-gloss paint onto a bumpy, dusty wall and expect a gallery masterpiece.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy. The glossy paint actually accentuates the flaws.
Right. It highlights every divot and bump. You have to spackle the holes. You have to sand it down to a smooth finish, apply a primer.
Yeah, and the primer analogy is incredibly accurate, especially when we start talking about the timeline. Because just like renovating a house, you can't start prepping that canvas the night before the deadline.
Which is what everyone wants to do.
Of course. But the biological reality of your skin dictates a much longer runway. The recommended starting phase for this whole Weddizer process is actually 8 to 12 weeks out from the wedding day.
Okay, let's unpack this right away. Because 8 to 12 weeks, that sounds like training for a half marathon.
I know it sounds like a lot.
Why on earth do we need a quarter of a year just to get our faces clean? I mean, my instinct is I can just wash my face really well the week of the wedding and be good to go.
It sounds excessive until you look at how the epidermis actually functions. You see, skincare isn't a quick fix mechanism, it's a biological cycle.
Okay, how so?
Well, your skin takes about 28 to 30 days to fully turn over. That means a brand new skin cell born at the deepest layer of your epidermis takes roughly a month to travel up to the surface and replace the dead cells on top.
Oh, wow, a whole month.
Right. So if you introduce a new cleanser or a moisturizer, you aren't going to see the true final effect on your complexion until that full cycle is complete.
So if I start a new routine a week before the wedding, I'm basically just treating the dead cells that are about to fall off anyway.
Precisely. You're not actually changing the health of the new skin.
That's a totally different way to look at it.
And there's a risk mitigation factor here as well. Let's say you introduce a new active ingredient and your skin has an adverse reaction.
Like an allergy.
Or what dermatologists call purging. It's where your skin accelerates its turnover and pushes all the underlying oil and bacteria to the surface at once.
Oh, giving you a massive breakout.
Exactly. And if that's going to happen, you want it happening 10 weeks before the wedding, not 3 days before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That 8 to 12-week window is your buffer. It's when you build the daily habit, figure out what products your biology actually tolerates, and start growing out your facial hair so you have a solid canvas to work with.
Okay, that makes the timeline much more understandable. It's about testing the machinery before the big race.
Yes, exactly.
Then, as we move closer to the actual day, the strategy shifts a bit. The guide says once we hit that 4 to 6 week mark, we're locking in the blueprint.
Right, the experimental phase is over.
That's when you schedule the barber consultation, figure out the exact beard geometry you want, maintain regular trims, and then there's the final week, which comes with a massive warning label in this guide.
Oh, absolutely.
It says absolutely 0 new products.
Strictly maintenance. You do not experiment in that final week.
So if, like, a relative gifts you some expensive exfoliating mask at the rehearsal dinner,
You do not touch it. Put it in a drawer for after the honeymoon. You maintain the healthy baseline you've spent the last 2 months carefully constructing. Introducing a new variable when you don't have time to recover from an allergic reaction, it's just a gamble you don't want to take.
okay, so the overarching timeline makes logical sense. But let's get into the actual daily execution. What is the tactical reality of this routine in the bathroom every morning?
Let's break down the pillars.
Yeah, let's start with washing. My usual move, and I think a lot of guys do this, is to just grab whatever bar of soap happens to be sitting on the ledge of the shower, lather it up, and aggressively scrub my face.
Which is essentially dropping a nuclear bomb on your skin's moisture barrier.
Wait, really? A nuclear bomb?
I mean it. Your skin has something called an acid mantle. It naturally sits at a slightly acidic pH, usually around 5.5, which keeps moisture in and harmful bacteria out.
Okay.
Standard bar soaps are highly alkaline. They often have a pH of 9 or 10. When you use that on your face, you completely strip away the lipids, the natural oils that act like mortar between your skin cells.
So instead of just cleaning the surface, I'm actually dissolving the protective layer?
Yes. And when you destroy that barrier, the skin flakes, it gets tight and irritated, your body basically panics.
How does the body panic?
It compensates by shifting sebum production into overdrive, trying to replace the oil you just violently washed away. So you end up with skin that is somehow dry, flaky, and incredibly greasy all at the same time.
That is the worst combination, so what's the alternative?
Using a gentle, dedicated facial cleanser twice a day, it removes the environmental dirt and excess oil without disrupting that acid mantle.
Okay, so we wash away the surface grime gently, but beneath that surface layer of oil, there's a layer of dead skin cells just waiting to catch the light wrong. Which brings us to the second step, exfoliation.
Yes, crucial step.
But here's my thing. If incredibly smooth, glowing skin is the ultimate goal, my brain immediately thinks more is better. Why not just use an exfoliating scrub every single day, right up until the morning of the wedding, to basically sand the skin down until it's as smooth as glass?
Well, because your face is a living, breathing organ, not a piece of drywall, right?
Fair point, yeah.
Physical exfoliants like those scrubs with the little beads or crushed walnut shells, they're abrasive. If you drag those across your face every single day, you are creating thousands of micro tears in the stratum corneum, that's the outermost layer of the skin.
And high-definition cameras are going to see that trauma.
They absolutely will. When you create those micro tears, you induce chronic inflammation. The blood vessels in your face dilate to rush healing nutrients to the area.
Which leaves you looking red.
Red, permanently pink, raw, inflamed. It also causes what's known as transepidermal water loss.
Which means what, exactly?
Because the barrier is broken, the moisture inside your skin literally evaporates into the air.
Oh, wow, so it dehydrates you.
Exactly. So twice a week is the biological sweet spot for exfoliation.
Oh.
It is just enough to slough off the dead cells, prevent hairs from getting trapped under the skin, and improve how a razor glides all without triggering that inflammatory panic response.
Be gentle. Stop attacking your own face. I love it. Okay, so once we've gently cleansed and carefully exfoliated, we have to put moisture back in. And the recommendation here isn't just to grab any lotion off the shelf.
No, absolutely not.
You have to match the physical texture of the moisturizer to your specific biological skin type. So if you have oily skin, you need a gel moisturizer. If you have dry skin, you go for a heavy cream. And for combination skin, a lightweight lotion.
And the mechanics behind this are actually fascinating when you think about how light interacts with the skin.
How do you mean?
Well, moisturizers generally contain humectants, which draw water into the skin, and occlusives, which lock that water in. A heavy cream has a high concentration of occlusives, think butters,
Right.
and heavy oils.
Right, the thick stuff.
Yeah. Now, if you naturally produce a lot of sebum and you slather a heavy cream on top of it, those oils just sit on the surface. When a camera flash hits that, you don't look